I know that he was really always really good at putting forth a narrative and keeping a certain persona, public persona, but they did a good job of keeping that joint under wraps. For real. Like, and if you look at his picture now, he's a spitting image of his father. He's the spitting image of Premier. Spitting image, bro. Lucky Lefty Podcast. I'm your guy, Shaun Davis, SD2 Mics. This dude right here, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire, at Overtime Malik and Malik Zaire 8 on Twitter. Brought to you and featuring Onora Whiskey. OnoraWhiskey.com is that premium American whiskey. OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, make sure that you drink responsibly. Very, very interesting show coming up. Have some more stuff from Media Day. ACC Media Day jumped off today. We'll talk a little bit about the ACC and how much longer it might be around. Then we have some interesting conversation, some trash talk from Bama players towards Jimbo Fisher from SEC Media Day. Yeah. And then, have to give it to your boy Bryce Young. He was super fresh at Media Day, which begs the question. And I'm going to ask my boy, and then I'll give my thoughts. What would you rock to Media Day, LL Nation? If you had to do a conference Media Day, what would you rock?
Me personally,
how would you come? Yeah, bro. How would you come to Media Day? Like,
I'm coming Balenciaga down. Balenciaga is my favorite designer, and I don't really even like design.
I like a lot. Balenciaga is one of those, his sneakers, like I see them on other people and I'm like, yo, that's fresh.
Yes.
But I just don't know if I can pull it off.
I'm meaning more clothes because I feel you so much on the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Even the sock shoes.
Yeah.
I'm like, they look really good on some people. But me, I just don't think, and in the way the running shoes are, they look like Rubik's Cubes. And I think they look so good on other people's feet. But they look a little big for me because I already got big feet. You got big feet.
You don't need something that looks.
You don't need a bulky big shoe to surround the big feet. Now you look like you're in boats for real. That's why they say you used to walk in boats. That's what they talking
about. Yeah. You're right. So, and I told you, I would be Ralph Lauren down. Ralph Lauren suit, Ralph Lauren shirt, tie.
What is it? Is it the material or is it that little polo man? What is it about?
No. See, I'll be honest. Of course, just hip hop got me into polo, the polo shirts and those things. They were big back in Chicago. I don't know why Kanye tries to take credit. Like, actually, the culture of Chicago put him on to polo. So, but that was the culture. It was always Jabot jeans, polo shirt, and that's how we always rocked out. And then as I got older in college and started going and traveling and stopping by these outlet stores in different areas of the country, I really got into the preppy look. Like, the V-neck cardigans and things like that. That's really what I went into rather than the polo shirts. So I went more into the preppy look, right?
Okay.
And that was
a look back then.
Yeah, sure. that was my thing. And then it was actually my wife who went to the polo store in New York and brought me back a nice shirt and tie for my birthday. And she opened my eyes to the purple label side and the dress clothes.
Ooh, yeah.
So when she did that, shout out to my boy, rest in peace, My boy introduced me to this dude named Greg who worked at the Ralph Lauren store downtown Michigan Avenue at the Mansion. He became pretty much my personal shopper. And every time I would go down there, he would be the one that
He'd
would
be like,
set
"This
me up.
what you need. This what you need."
Right. With the sport coats, things of that nature. You know, so
That's how you know you a regular. When
right.
They start going down there and fitting you.
So I'm really not. It would be the summertime, so I'll keep it a buck. I probably would do sport coat, slacks, because I'm a loafers guy. I'm not really a dress shoe guy. I'm really kind of
in moccasins.
Yes, I would probably rock like that without the socks. That probably would be my look. Because Bryce Young went without the socks yesterday.
That's the NIL money's good.
He went without socks yesterday. So matter of fact, we can get to it. Just so you guys know what we're talking about. This is Bryce Young yesterday coming off the stage after talking to the media, and someone asked him about, his outfit. So check it out.
So where'd you get the shoes?
Chris Louboutin.
Oh, okay. Can I take a video?
Go ahead, sure.
Do you have any inspiration for this fit?
Inspiration. Some people definitely helped me with it, so
Yeah?
it's definitely not on me. So I'm like, I liked it for sure, but some people helped me pick it out.
No, we just had the NBA draft.
So first of all, he needs to learn how to tie a better knot, because that knot is ridiculous. It's almost like
that money gonna clean him up. Don't worry.
Yeah, and then look, man, they could have done a better job cutting him. You know what I'm saying? Because the coat really didn't snug with his athletic build. You know what I'm saying? You're an athlete.
But he got a slim build. That's like trying to get a cut on Kevin Durant. It's like
It's kind of like, we need to tell you need to tell your that he needs to let it out an inch on his point. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's the flyest bit on TV, man. I know you're not.
He needs to let it out just about a quarter of an inch.
That's how they gotta cut it.
No, man. Nah. Lucky Lefty podcast. So LL Nation. LL Nation, what would you rock? What would you rock? Okay. Coach Vic 7 Tom Ford. Okay. I get with the Tom Ford. I can rock that.
That's very clean.
Yeah, Tom Ford. Timothy Midget, pair of black Air Force Ones, just to let the other teams know we mean business. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Now, one of the other styles I got into back in the day, I don't know what is hit in your life. When you had the jeans with the button down with the hat. You remember that phase?
Jean button down with that.
You had the jeans with the button down shirts, the long button down shirts.
That was like cookout, baby shower type deals.
Yeah, with the fitted. Like, I don't know if people were really.
That's a New York thing, fitted in collared shirts.
Yeah.
Or fitted in button-ups.
Yeah. Shout out to a day one. Drunk Vigo, who says, I feel like a boss wearing Ralph Lauren and watching Indy. That's what's up. And thanks, Drunk Vigo, for yesterday, bro, we had a question about a Texas quarterback. Drunk Vigo hit us up after the show on the page. Carlisle Holiday was a quarterback from Texas. We flipped him from Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken. But he didn't end up staying at quarterback. Didn't he end up going to wide receiver?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Connor Nepper said he would just rock a casual Tommy Hilfiger suit.
I don't know about the Hilfiger no more. I would go Lacoste before I go Hilfiger.
I've never really dug into Lacoste from a dress side.
Yeah.
Lacoste is making a comeback.
It is.
It's making a comeback. especially with the hoodies and the crew necks.
That's right.
Yeah. But I like your Balenciaga. I love.
Mm-hmm.
Balenciaga has some of the low key best sweaters / t-shirts.
The sweater t-shirt combo is
elite. Yeah.
Elite.
Yeah.
From a feel good putting it on, you can wash it and still feel good.
Let's get to it. You had a conversation with 2023 quarterback recruit who reopened his recruitment after being committed to Baylor. I believe it's Baylor, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, and also Ohio State vying for his commitment now. Austin Novosad on IPC last night. What stood out the most about your conversation?
You can tell that he's a kid that is playing with a chip on his shoulder. He feels like the process for him was a long climb, and now that teams are coming on, he's like, okay, now I can really look at things. It's moving a little fast, but this is where I feel like I should be, because he even mentioned the other quarterbacks out there. He said they look like they running around. So you can tell he takes the game and he takes what he does seriously in a different realm than some of the highlight quarterbacks that we're seeing today. I think he's, like we said, I made a video earlier, he's a very good plug-and-play guy for Tommy, especially a guy that can push Tyler Buckner from a skill set position, which is interesting that, we continue to create such drastic differences in the skill sets of our quarterbacks that we bring in on a different year-to-year basis. One year we bring in a Drew Pine. Next year we bring in a Tyler Buckner. The year after we looking to bring in hopefully a Novosad who is a better version of a Drew Pine, in my opinion. Better fitting for what we're looking for. And then we got a Steve Angeli the year before that. So I think that this recruit in particular, Novosad, is a better fit for what Tommy is looking to do. If you look at Novosad's film, it has a lot of really good concepts in there that you see on a college level, that you see him being very efficient at, being accurate, as well as staying in the pocket. He mentioned that's one of his favorite qualities about himself, and you see that on film, and it's apparent. And that's what you can expect from Tommy. Tommy wants to run a lot of concepts. Tommy wants a quarterback that's going to run the plays that he's drawing up late at night in these coaching meetings and coaching staffs. I mean, he's going through all types of reads, finding guys in the zone, being able to look confident and stand tall in the pocket and deliver the football. This is what offensive coordinators, especially like Tommy, who has a lot to prove as an offensive coordinator, who wants to put a good resume out there for potential teams that are looking at him from the NFL perspective, or even just on a landscape of putting himself in good position as a top play caller. These are the type of guys that you want. And the one thing that stands out to me is that he has great timing. And when you say great timing with his feet, the rhythm in which he goes back and process the plays, it looks like you're seeing it on Saturday at a high level. So to see that kind of trait where it doesn't look like he's holding the football all day, that's the type of stuff I know Tommy's probably really excited about. Hopefully we get this kid to flip. But he has a big interest on academics, and obviously whenever you start talking academics, Notre Dame is going to be in that top conversation.
Yeah, I agree with that, bro. And the kid, like you said, looking at his film, one of the things you want to steer clear of, especially in the state of Texas, and you brought this up, is that, most of the quarterbacks from Texas put up ridiculous video game type numbers. Like, you look at their numbers, you get excited. And if they go to a system that's wide open, they can have success. But if they have to go to another system that's built more on the running game and play action, are they patient enough to really allow their skill set to work within that system. It's different when you can talk about this, the mentality of regions when it comes to quarterbacks. I think Ohio quarterbacks are very similar. I think Pennsylvania quarterbacks are very similar. I think California quarterbacks are very similar. Is it really just about style of play, or is it really kind of like about lifestyle and the competition in those particular areas?
Yeah, the style of offenses are definitely regional based. I think Ohio has a lot of different, more ground game, play action specific type of offenses due to the weather, due to the type of players that we churn out from a running back, quarterback, offensive lineman perspective. You don't see too many top receivers come out of the states of the Midwest. Not that they aren't, but that's not where the honeypot is, as you can say. You go down to Texas and you see more run and shoot. You see more bigger, stronger, faster athletes kind of coming out of high school, but they're very limited in a understanding of a skill-based offense. They're running like fast-paced based offenses, which is like how their basketball is ran. That's why Texas basketball has never been like considered a Chicago basketball or a New York basketball. So
Right.
I think the more intricate skill and understanding of the game, I think has a focus more for Midwest quarterbacks. I mean, even Tom Brady, got a chance to experience an offense that was based primarily on what he's doing today. So I think just from where we are, I do think that he fits more into outside of the mold of a Texas quarterback, which gives him a bump. I think that's where a lot of schools start looking at his film for real and being like, man, I have to really look. And you're not like the Bryce Petties where you're just dropping back and throwing a hitch route or throwing a go route or doing a read option. That's 95% of Texas offenses. Even Cade Klubnik is similar to that. You look at his offense, you're like, where is this at? That's the first thing I had to say. All right, where is this football at? 'Cause this don't look like Texas football, So you can see Tommy even sees that from a kid like Jackson Arnold, who's very talented. Like Novosad mentions, guys running around. Jackson Arnold runs around a lot. Tommy saw that. Yeah, he wanted to offer him because of his talent. But then you can also tell he didn't want to take him right away either. So when he looked at a kid like Novosad, still from Texas, he's like, wait a minute. I thought all Texas quarterback was the same, but he really saw something different in Novosad. And that's something that's going to stand out with us, is particularly if you talk about playing early.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Just Notre Dame just put out an offer to Ben Minich. He is a safety out of athlete out of Ohio. Class of 23.
Even look at Avery Davis. Like, you're right. I guess he did. He was a quarterback.
I don't really like
Texas.
his film, but go ahead. Go ahead. You said Avery Davis?
Exactly. But even with Avery Davis comes in, he didn't last but a year before they switched him. Because his style of offense was run around, throw it deep. You got a decent arm, make it happen. No different in Tyrone Swoops. Top quarterback, Texas, goes to Texas, ends up ending as a tight end. So you can already tell that the style of quarterbacks that come out of Texas don't finish as quarterbacks due to the fact that the offenses aren't preparing them the same. Novosad, however, is out of that mode, which is why he stands out amongst quarterbacks.
Bro, I still cannot believe that you all allowed Tyrone Swoops to make plays in that 16 game, bro. It's embarrassing. It's flat out embarrassing, bro. It's flat out embarrassing.
I really do think a lot of it is about momentum. It's momentum. Like, he has so much momentum. And it's like nobody could tackle him. It was like kids bouncing off of him. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I'm sitting there. I'll never forget. I'm sitting there like, I don't know what it is about Notre Dame.
Like, he can't throw. He
cannot throw at all. Like, what are we doing? And he's not handing the ball off to the running back. He's keeping it. I just
he's keep. Yeah, they'll be like, this ain't. He's going to keep it. So you faking like you falling for it. Come on.
Man, that was frustrating. Lucky Lefty podcast. So Notre Dame released the schedule. They start fall camp. First practice is August the 5th. 19 practices going up to, I believe, ending on the 27th. And, Marcus Freeman is going to meet with the media on the 5th. And I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say about his team. And it begs the question, I guess you can ask, if I asked you, we had an interesting conversation offline yesterday about a certain individual that you were like, man, I just don't know. I have to see him play. But it goes back to the conversation that Nick Saban was asked about yesterday. Who are the top 2 players on Notre Dame, and who are the top 2 players in college football? And we want to get to it, but I want to give LL Nation in the chat an opportunity to really send in their answers. Because before we get to that, we have to talk about closing the deal, flipping Novosad, but closing the deal and also dealing with Jaden Ausberry, who set a date for his commitment, August 4th on CBS Sports. Jeremiah Love, who continues to say that he's going to make a commitment soon. We'll see. And then Ronan Hennefin, man, which has become somewhat of a mystery because Ronan Hennefin had consistently been talking with Notre Dame recruits. He still talks to them, not as much as he used to. It's been reported that his relationship with the Clemson positional coaches is very, very strong. And that's what's causing the stagnation or the pause in his recruitment or committing to Notre Dame. And he's just going back and forth, which is similar to Drake Bowen. Drake Bowen went back and forth until he visited that USC game. It was back and forth between Clemson and Notre Dame. He visited USC weekend, and then for him, it was a wrap. He knew. So Chancey Stuckey, Dylan McCullough, and the rest of the staff, they're going to have to – they got some work. They got some work to do because you have to close this class out, man. It's number one. It's been number one for a while.
Yeah, you coming around the third base.
Yeah.
You got to bring it home.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to bring it home, right? And they're going to battle. The closest team, the only team that really has a shot of taking over the number one spot is Ohio State, in their recruiting. And it's going to be very interesting. I think out of the 3 names, I'm really sure about 2 of them. When we talk about Hennefin, Jeremiah Love, and Jaden Ausberry. 2 of them, I feel really good about. Okay, I would be willing to bet.
I don't know about Jaden.
Say it again.
I feel good about Novosad. I feel good about Novosad, and I feel good about Hennefin.
Okay.
I think Hennefin is playing great with his cards, but I do think Hennefin fits better with Notre Dame.
Okay.
Punt return.
Okay.
The punt return team can operate with 2 very different goals or as a mix. Coaches sometimes play for return and sometimes attempt to block the kick. The base.
Oh, that's you. I was like, man, what's that coming through? Let's see.
It was.
Yeah, man. It's going to be tough because if they don't close, they'll still have the second or third best recruiting class But it would be kind of a letdown.
Right.
It would kind of be a letdown. And someone pointed this out to me yesterday.
It would be. Yeah.
You have to think about this. Notre Dame is where they are in recruiting in 23 and 24 with a head coach that's 0-1 and blew a 28-7 lead in a bowl game. Like he really hasn't done anything.
Oh my God.
He really hasn't done anything positive to make you think that he come out and have this effect in recruiting as the lead recruiter. But this is where Notre Dame sits.
At all.
If Notre Dame goes out and wins, it might get super crazy. It might get super crazy if Notre Dame goes out and wins. Lucky Lefty podcast. So let's get into the Ausberry date. August 4th, he's going to make this decision. CBS Sports. And for him, Michigan, Notre Dame, LSU, Texas A&M. I think there are a couple of other schools that were up there on his graphic. Let's see if I can get those. A couple of other schools that were up there on his graphic. But either way, that's the decision it comes down to. And ultimately, it's a lot. It's a lot for this young man to think about. Auburn. His brother plays at Auburn. His father actually is on staff over at LSU. And, you know, Notre Dame and Michigan. It's a lot. It's a lot pulling on his heart. That's why I tell people all the time, man, like we need to relax when it comes to these 17, 18-year-olds, man, because it's a lot of relationships, and it goes back to the Ronan Hennefin situation. Like you start dealing with relationships and coaches that have been built, and even though you might feel a lean towards one school, you might lean towards another positional coach more. It's a lot to sift through. And, you know, I think fans get impatient sometimes. It's like, when is this guy? Why hasn't he committed? As if it's the staff at Notre Dame's fault that a player hasn't chosen to set a date or commit.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing what they're supposed to do as a staff. It's up to the kid and his family. When, where, and who is going to be. And it's like, yo, relax.
And it's hard when you're getting so, and it's just like the vending machine. You know, when you go to the vending machine, you have hundreds of choices.
Mm-hmm.
Even that new, you know, the new soda machine, you go in there and they got every flavor of drink you can imagine in one little machine. You know what I'm talking about?
You talking about
Wingstop?
Like, one at Wingstop where you can computerize, you can go in.
You get like 100 different choices.
100 different choices, yeah.
And even if you get a drink, right? They got 15 flavors.
Right.
You're like, oh my goodness, how do I decide? It can't just be high C. They got high C, fruit
cherry,
punch,
vanilla,
strawberry, grape, watermelon, cherry.
Right.
Yeah, like,
right.
This is what it's like choosing schools. Now, put a future behind it.
Yeah.
Now choose a drink that you got to stick with for 4 years.
Right.
That's a hard decision, even on a little thing like that.
Right.
All them choices of drinks, you're going to be like, man, do I want to drink vanilla Coke for 3 years? Is that going to be my drink of choice for 3 years, vanilla Coke? So just think of what a college decision would be like.
That's crazy. Like for so many different reasons and so many different choices. And, you know, you have kids that know where they're going, like right off the bat. And then you have other kids that grow up under programs like CJ Carr, and they still end up going to Notre Dame, even though they grew up in a Michigan culture. So it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. and the 23 class has to close. It has to be closed. And this is, forget Caleb Downs and Pimba, all the guys that are taking their recruitment into the fall. We're strictly talking about the kids that are telling everyone they're making a decision before the start of their senior seasons. I need 2 out of 3. And Novosad is like a cherry on top. Getting him would be like a cherry on top. Like,
yeah, Novosad just be like, oh, if
Yeah.
anything, we're working on our poaching skills, like we talked about early in the season. Our poaching skills are going to be more evident now that how we're taking recruiting seriously. In my opinion, I think Marcus Freeman, this is where he's going to be impactful in recruiting. We would have never tried to poach a guy this late. We would have chalked it up to, okay, we got 3-star guy out of Mississippi Western or something, right?
Yeah.
Or we would have got a transfer, played it safe, whatever.
Right.
We're like, no, it's not over. Recruiting's not over. We got this kid we really like. He came on the radar late. We don't care he's committed. And from the sound of it, he don't care he's committed. So obviously, where he committed to, it was like, we're better than that. We can offer you something better. You know, you think you're good with the little butter cookies, but we got the Girl Scout cookies right here. It's just competition.
By the way, mentioning cookies, have you tried the Mariah Carey joints?
Oh, yeah, all the time. The lemon ones.
That's what I was about to say. Heavenly, bro. Heavenly. Hey, look, take it from us. I'm trying to tell you, the first time I tasted them, I was in LA.
They don't look like they'll be good for real.
No, at all. At all.
It's not a sexy kind of cookie. It's not a sexy kind of cookie.
But when you bite into that
it's
lemon,
like a bulky.
It's almost scone-like. Instead of a cookie, it's almost like
It looked like a biscuit.
Right, a biscuit. Yeah. But like the way,
and then you mess around, eat the whole thing. No, that's what's crazy. You eat the whole thing. You don't be like, I'm gonna share some. No.
Man, that was a quick detour.
Cookies like that are special.
That was a quick detour. Let's get back to Notre Dame. These 19 practices beginning August 5th. Marcus Freeman will talk to the media. What are you looking forward to the most? Like, when I leave that first full practice and you're like, all right, Shaun, what's up? What are you wanting me to say? What's the first thing you like? I can't wait for Shaun to confirm this or to let me know what's up.
Mine would be, who is standing out on getting to the ball first defensively? Who's flying to that football first? And if it's a young guy, I think we're in a good spot. If you're like, man, Prince Collie was everywhere, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's a good precedent for the season. Or if you say, oh, man, Tariq Brazy, nobody caught the slot. Because the way he flew to the ball was just, that would be, to me, I'd be like, okay, they're competing at a high level. They're having some chemistry, and they're meeting what Marcus Freeman wants, a physicality. And if we can be physical going into the first half of games, that'll change the whole dynamic of what our season looks like under Marcus Freeman.
Yep. So once again, August 5th, fall camp begins. 19 practices leading up to September 3rd in the matchup with Ohio State in the Horseshoe. We'll see. The talk is almost over, bro. It's time to put up or shut up. And I think
it's almost over.
Yeah, we would like for Tyler Buckner to be named the starter August 5th. But
day one, yeah.
Yeah, but by at least
I just know that, that's not how things go. You can't just snap your fingers and things happen, I guess, these days.
Yo, at least it's over August 27th. I would say at least by August 20th. I want the kid, whoever, to have 2
You
weeks.
gotta give Tyler Buckner 2 weeks of just running that thing.
Right.
2 weeks. I'm saying you give Tyler Buckner 2 straight weeks of running the ones. Okay, let's say you do the competition. Okay, give him 2 weeks. You give him 2 weeks, and then that first week to prepare for the first game, that's give you 3 weeks for your first game as a day one. That's enough. They give you 2 weeks to bullshit and do all the fake competition stuff, and then 2 weeks to get serious, and then a week of the game.
So tomorrow,
if you want to save it.
Yeah. Don't forget, tomorrow, Bruce Feldman, Fox Sports college football analyst, joins us right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast to chop it up about college football, Notre Dame. And he is one of those people that thinks Notre Dame needs to join a conference. So I'm always game for getting the other side of the conversation. Bruce Feldman from Fox Sports college football. He joins us tomorrow around 11 a.m. Don't forget. So we put it out there. Top 2 players on Notre Dame, top 2 players in all of college football, right? Let's look at some of these answers we got from people, man. Let's look at some of the answers. Let's see. Noob Life, 007. Foskey and Joseph are the best players in ND. Alabama quarterback Bryce Young and Bijan Robinson from Texas are the best football players in the nation. Would you put Bijan in the top?
Sure, that's true. I mean, I think he's not better than what Saquon was in college, so I wouldn't put him in the top 2 this year or just yet.
Jay Henry, Will Anderson, and Bryce Young as the top 2 players in the nation.
I mean, that's the easiest because they were the last to play. And Nick Saban down there.
Mayer and Foskey, according to Anthony Solomon for Notre Dame. Joe Long says Fisher and Foskey. Let's see.
Like, could you consider C.J. Stroud a top player in the country? Or is he just a really good fit on a really good team with a really good coach?
That's interesting. I mean, you could look at it like that.
Because he's not going to run no 4-3. He's not going, even when Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace, when he threw 50 touchdowns at Ohio State, at the time in college football, was he a top player in the country, though? Like if you had to, obviously he was a top pick, but you know what I mean? Like Deshaun Watson was the top player in college football, even when he didn't win the Heisman.
Yeah.
Like, but Zach Wilson was the top player in college football, and he was drafted number 2.
That's true.
You just don't hear about Zach Wilson till the end of the season.
I still don't understand that pick, but hey, I still don't understand Aiden.
I mean, they made it so like they made the Zach Wilson pick like it was just bona fide. We all know he's 2. Don't even worry about the first 2. It's just automatically him, Jets, sealed.
Right.
Get your hat. It's cool. I'm like, y'all didn't even talk about like maybe it's not at all. They're like, no, he's number 2. Don't worry about it. Aiden Hutchinson, don't even worry about it. We're just gonna send him to Detroit. I'm like, y'all just be putting in sometimes anybody.
Yeah. Shout out to Coach Big 7, Bryce Young, and Ohio State receiver
Jackson and Jigba.
Yeah, Jackson.
Man, these days there's so many good receivers out there, man. You can find one anywhere.
Jackson put up some numbers.
Nobody talk about Jordan Addison. He won the Blitz.
Yeah, but Jackson put up some crazy numbers.
Jordan Addison won the Blitz.
Listen to me, man. When you put up, you would agree that Jackson was the number 3 receiver on that squad. When you think about it, right? He's the number 3. And as the number 3, his numbers were absolutely absurd. as the number 3. I mean, look, I just don't know I don't know if his game physically can go anywhere else.
Who's?
Jackson.
Jackson?
As a receiver,
he's like, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
he is what he is at this point.
He's going to put up the numbers he's put up. It doesn't matter if he's the second receiver, first receiver, third receiver. Nah, he's going to be consistent. Now that he's going to be there. Like you're hoping in vain if you're hoping that Jackson has a bad game on September 3rd. He's not going to have a bad game. He's going to get over.
I don't think Notre Dame is counting on him.
No.
Yeah, I don't think Notre Dame has said, okay, we'll just single him up and we'll let him beat us. No. We're going to be giving him some attention.
Right.
And usually putting the attention that's least on maybe like their third receiver, like a Harrison Jr. or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Tariq Bracy is definitely in for it, though.
Oh, all you want him to do is compete. Don't make it easy. Just don't make it easy.
And if anybody, Tariq Bracy's a great first matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing for us is to make sure we just dominate the trenches.
Which on paper right now, I'm confident we'll do anyway.
Yeah. Now I disagree with this. CJ Stroud is not average, dude. We're going a little bit too far. He's not average. Like you don't get pressure on him.
You don't have to be,
Right. Don't get pressure on him to see how average he is. He's not average. Yeah. Now, if you don't feel like he is top 3 NFL worthy, that's cool. But he's far from average. I would take him right now on our roster. Right now.
Yeah,
he can bring his average self right now. Yeah. He can bring his average self right to South Bend right now. Easy.
Yeah.
And Bryce Young, this is what he's got loaded talent.
I would be.
Bryce Young doesn't have loaded talent. Caleb Williams isn't going to have loaded talent. Like, dude, that's good teams have talent.
Caleb Williams roster is nice.
Yeah. I wouldn't call him average, though. That's the last thing I would call him is average. So check this out, bro. I told you some trash talking going on at the SEC Media Day. And Will Anderson was asked about Texas A&M and all the stuff that Jimbo Fisher said about Alabama. And his thoughts.
When you heard what Jimbo Fisher said about your coach, and did y'all take that personally?
A couple of my teammates, said something, but for me, I watched it, I seen, but I don't really get into all the social media stuff. I don't tweet any of that. When we play Texas A&M, everything will be addressed.
That dude said, when we play them, we'll address it. That's what you want to hear, dude. Like, I'm not doing all this back and forth. When they come in to run Denny, that's when I'll address it. And if I'm the quarterback for Texas A&M, I'm looking over at my coach. Like, keep your mouth closed.
Yeah, Alabama's one of those teams where they can really back up and don't need to say much.
No.
And then the more you talk, the worse it's going to get for you.
So, one of the newcomers we talked about that could end up being one of the top players is transfer from Georgia Tech, Jahmyr Gibbs. And we said, now this dude had the most receptions on screenplays in all of college football last year. And I think he's going to be a difference maker for that offense because he's different. We're so used to Alabama having a battering ram at running back, right? Well, this guy can run inside, he can run outside, screen game, he can line up in the slot. He's going to be a difference maker. And Bryce Young talked about his new shiny toy.
Ready on the offense?
Definitely. Ja is super explosive, super dynamic, and he's really smart. He understands the offense really well, even in the short time that he got here and he's been here. Right when he got here, it felt like he's been here for multiple years, how well he understood the offense. Smart not just in running the ball and receiving out of the backfield, but also in protection too. He knows where his eyes need to be. So I'm super excited to watch him, to play alongside him, and it's been really fun just being able to play with him in practice. So I'm super excited for the season.
Yeah. The rich get richer in college football, man. The rich get richer. Nick Saban yesterday, he was on with Josh.
That's
Peyton,
right.
247 Sports. Yeah, the rich get richer, bro. Which is why, we go back to what we talked about yesterday and why Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame, Ryan Day, Ohio State, and, Dabo Swinney and Clemson, with everything swirling around with expansion, teams leaving conferences, going to other conferences, what can happen, TV deals. It's the haves and the have-nots. Like, those 5 or 6 schools are unbothered, regardless of what happens. Like, dude, like, nothing changes for us. Nothing changes for Alabama. Nothing changes for Georgia. Nothing changes for Clemson. Nothing changes for Ohio State. Nothing changes for Notre Dame. It's the same. Look, every year, win the championship or bust. That's what it is. Recruit the best players.
And you got to remember, these are the teams that are at the top looking down.
At the top looking down. Yeah. Yeah. So, and yesterday, Nick Saban, who was on a roll, continued to stay on a roll, talking about the current affairs in college football as he joined Josh Pate. Listen to this.
I think a lot of folks love watching Alabama football. People don't get so stoked when they wake up on a Saturday morning and know Bama's favored by 48 today. And I've heard you talk a little bit lately about how you don't prefer that either. You want games that people want to see, but you can't just snap your fingers and make it happen. So,
right. All right. If attendance goes down, then how does that impact us in a positive way? So to play quality games is the most important thing. All right, but our rules don't enhance us playing quality games because you got to have a winning record to get in the bowl game. Why don't we do it like basketball? Have some rating system that even if you went 5-7, but you played a really good schedule and you beat some pretty good teams, you could go to a bowl game, rather than trying to create a schedule where you play 4 teams that you know you're going to beat. And if I can just win 2 other games, I'll be bowl eligible. And that's important to my program. And it's important to me keeping my job. All right, so, but how about the fans? Do they want to go see these games? So, it was, I don't know how many years ago, 6, 8 years ago, I said, why don't we play 9 games in the SEC? All right, now they're talking about playing 9 in the future. I'm saying, why don't we play 10?
You know what?
That was a bit of a grift, Nick Saban.
That
was a bit of a grift.
A little
because when has Nick Saban ever cared about what the fans want to see? When has the fans ever been a priority for what Nick Saban wants to appease out there every Saturday? He talking about, what about the fans? What are they going to think? Come on, Nick Saban. Come on, Nick Saban. Just like we just said, none of this matters to y'all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
None of this affects it, like in business, none of this affects your bottom line. You're good. If the COVID hit your program, it's straight. They don't need no COVID relief. It's pandemic proof.
Yeah.
Come on, Nick Saban, man. You talking about weathering the storm that you not even in. That's crazy.
I will say this, though. It would be super dope. It would be super dope if you just had all the top teams like playing each other like you see in college basketball. Like, that would be dope. And even
That's
if
what I said.
even if they
I
had
said
like
it should be a
7-5
Champions League.
Yeah. Even if they had a 7-5 record, they still make it to like some type of playoff. That would be dope. Because every week would be like, yo, I have to watch.
Because that's where the whole, my team would have still beat y'all if we would have played. Y'all, we just lost by a point in a couple games, but we was really right there with the best teams.
Right.
That would make all those conversations be in the forefront, which makes sports better, you know?
Yeah. Like Nick, from like him talking about future relegation leagues yesterday, to him talking about this. And look, he was honest because he threw like, yo, this is important for me to keep my job. Like, I schedule to make sure that I can keep my job. That's why my schedule is the way it is, right? Bama will play one tough game, one perceived
But that's a
tough
sub,
game.
though. But that's a sub. You know, he was subbing Jimbo Fisher right there. He was subbing Jimbo Fisher right there. He like, Jimbo, you doing all this crying because you want to keep that job, man.
Right.
Because he wouldn't be talking about himself. Nick Saban is secured till the year 2055. He's good.
I don't know if he lives that long.
He got that Drake subliminal. You know, he on the
dude. Look, I think ultimately Nick Saban is at a place where he knows who he is. He knows the power that he swings in wheels in college football and amongst the coaching ranks. And he's open enough to speak truth right now, even though it might not line up with what he's done in the past. Right? When he spoke about NIL prior to the championship game, he spoke truth. He told you what was about to happen. And everybody poo-pooed it because it came from him. I'm like, all right. And now, you know, he's speaking truth to what's coming. And people are going to poo-poo it because it's Nick Saban. You can say what you want. Look.
Nick Saban's so funny, though, because Nick Saban will say things he's going to do as if he's not the person that's going to do it. So, for instance, he'll be like, man, that bank sure doesn't have a lot of security. I wonder, man, if anybody was smart, they'll rob it this way.
So basically you're saying...
And then he ends up robbing it that way. You like, man, you talking as if you're not the mastermind.
So Nick Saban wouldn't be the one in your crew that you were asked to go talk to a girl about you. Like, yo, hook me up.
Oh, no.
Saban, don't send him over there. Don't send him over there because he is not talking about you at all. Because
he going to end up with the better number. He going to be like, how'd you get the number? Oh, man, I was just doing it for you, man. I was doing it for you.
Right.
I had to get her number so I could hit her up for you and make it easier.
So I could talk to her about you. Man, why you go out with her?
About you.
I had to go out with her to make sure that we were talking
to make sure the face-to-face know I was genuine about you.
So, man, you had to kiss her. I had to make sure that her lips were soft enough so that when I gave you the information
for you.
This is Nick Saban sitting up here.
But don't worry about it. And then hit you with the and then he'll hit you with the, man, you got a good one.
Right.
You got you a good one, man.
He like Faison Love and Martin in the alley in Thin Line. Like, you don't want that. Nah, you don't want that no more, dog. You don't want that. Yeah, Nick Saban out here standing on the pulpit as if he cares about the overall goodness of college football, besides just wanting the best for Alabama. Like, get the heck out of here, man. It's like you could ultimately what you're saying in certain
Nick
areas,
Saban speaks as the commissioner, though.
yeah.
You know.
What you're saying is spot on in certain areas, but my man, yeah, I just don't know if you're the right guy. I just don't know if you're the right guy to bring up that information. All right. So we thank everybody for joining us today. Don't forget, Bruce Feldman, Fox Sports college football analyst, joins us tomorrow around 11 a.m. It's a lot to talk about because he's on the other side of this Notre Dame going to a conference thing, and we're always open to hearing different voices. You know what time it is.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
Yep. Petty Junction each and every day. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. Pettiest stories of the day. Someone said, did, or just showed something incredibly dumb and petty. And we're going to start off. We love them so much. We tried to get them to join us to talk about it. We're going to put none other than the face of the 2023 Notre Dame recruiting class, Drake Bowen, on the petty train. Got to do it to our guy. So those of you that don't know, Jackson Arnold, Oklahoma quarterback commit class of 2023, put out a message, and it said, "Come home, Peyton." Speaking of Peyton Bowen, another commit in the 23 class. Now you have to understand, Jackson Arnold, Eli Bowen, and Peyton Bowen are high school teammates. So they're very close. So it's not far-fetched that Jackson Arnold would continue to recruit Peyton Bowen to Oklahoma. He's played with him the past 3 years. Why wouldn't he want to continue to play with him and Eli in Norman, Oklahoma for the next 3 to 4 years? So he posted a picture of them together, and then he tagged Peyton Bowen in it and said, "Come home, Peyton." Now, this is where Drake Bowen puts in the request to Notre Dame for the graphic. They send him the graphic of him and Peyton Bowen. And Drake says, "I want to make sure I get it correct." This is my guy. And I talked to him last night, like, yo, he's well played. He gets the graphic of him and Peyton Bowen with the Golden Dome in the background and says, "Been home for a while now, 4 for 40. And at the bottom of the graphic, it reads, "I've been talking to him for a couple of months, and he's awesome. He's really down to earth and works his butt off in the classroom and on the field. I'm excited he's joining us and pushing our class to be even better." That's Drake Bowen on Peyton Bowen's commitment. So, man, it's very interesting, but we had to put our guy Drake on the petty train just to have a little bit of fun. That was super petty, his response to Jackson Arnold. I love it. I'm sure the rest of you love it, but I was like, yo, well played. Next, former defensive coordinator at Notre Dame, now head coach at Vanderbilt in the SEC, Clark Lee. We got to put you on the petty train.
We know that in time, Vanderbilt football will be the best program in the country. As I stated a year ago, there are no cheat codes, no shortcuts, no hacks that will allow this to happen overnight. This is still about going the long, hard way, independent of the trends and the headlines generating the most attention right now in college football.
Clark Lee at SEC Media Day saying that Vanderbilt is going to be the best program in the country. Clark, we really like you, man. We thank you for what you gave to Notre Dame, how you develop players. But, yo, no, my man. And that might be something you have to say. No, my man. Nah. I just don't see Vanderbilt ever being the top program in the country. No, not while I'm living. Now, it might happen when I leave here, but it's good coach speak. It's good coach speak. Like I said, tomorrow, Bruce Feldman joins us. Talk college football. Don't forget, it's all about you guys. Hit the like button, share, hit the notification bell. You'll find out each and every time we're doing something with Lucky Lefty Podcast Network. Spend it different today. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you tomorrow, 10:30, for another great episode of the Lucky Lefty